Hey there, you. Yes, I'm talking to you, the American who works hard, plays hard, and definitely loves a good meal out. What if I told you that your go-to restaurants, the places you rely on for a quick lunch, a family dinner, or a late-night craving, might be hiding some truly unsettling secrets right under your nose? Seriously, if you're planning to eat at one of these 6 wildly popular spots anytime soon, you might want to hit pause on those dinner plans right now. Because by the time you're finished with this, your appetite just might disappear faster than a half-price appetizer during happy hour. Get ready, because what these chains are really serving up might just make your stomach do a full flip. Let's kick things off with a familiar face that almost every one of you has visited: Applebee's. For many, it embodies the classic American casual dining experience. But what if the core experience here largely boils down to a microwave working harder than any human chef? Former cooks have bravely stepped forward, spilling the beans on a shocking reality. Up to 90% of the food served at Applebee's arrives pre-cooked, frozen solid, and then vacuum sealed. So, that seemingly fresh, sizzling skillet of fajitas you're looking forward to. It's often just a carefully staged performance of steam and reheated meat packets designed to create an illusion of freshness. In fact, a former manager once admitted that the only items truly cooked from scratch are eggs and baked potatoes, and even those sometimes show up partially prepped in plastic containers. The visual evidence of this culinary shortcut became undeniably public when a customer posted a photo of their Applebee's steak online. It appeared disturbingly gray, limp, and flattened, like a pancake that had utterly given up on life. Online commenters couldn't hold back, quipping, "That thing looks like it lost the will to grill," and "Is that a steak or a damp rug?" However, the unsettling presentation is just the surface of the concerns at Applebee's. Health inspections have uncovered far more alarming issues. Temperature logs from various locations have shown that some meats were frequently held in prep areas at temperatures exceeding 50 degrees Fahrenheit, creating an ideal breeding ground for bacteria, turning a quiet kitchen into a potential party zone for pathogens. And while those alluring happy hour deals and cheap cocktails might initially draw you in, seemingly masking any perceived dip in food quality, even those come with their own secret. Bartenders have openly shared that the colorful, often potent drinks are crafted using the cheapest bottom-shelf alcohol available. One former server even joked that the actual top shelf was strictly reserved for storing cleaning spray, sarcastically suggesting those giant blue Long Island iced teas might be more effective at cleaning your insides than impressing a date. Ultimately, the implicit understanding seems to be, if the food disappoints, at least those powerful neon-hued margaritas might ensure you don't remember the specifics by morning. Next, let's smoothly slide into another ubiquitous chain, Subway, a place that proudly promotes itself as a healthy, fresh, and sandwich-savvy option. But the term fresh starts to feel like a massive exaggeration when your tuna sandwich becomes the central punchline of a national food scandal. Multiple independent lab tests conducted in recent years have sparked serious questions about whether Subway's tuna actually contains, well, any real tuna at all. One scientific review in 2021 notably reported finding no amplifiable tuna DNA in the tested samples, a discovery so baffling it's like biting into a peanut butter and jelly sandwich only to find vague goo with no trace of peanuts or fruit. Adding to the mystery, former employees have recounted tales of mystery meat with conveniently peeled off and replaced expiration stickers. One worker even went viral after uploading a photo of a plastic tub of chicken where the original "Do not use after Tuesday" warning had been visibly scratched out and a new, later date slapped on. Customers have also shared their own disturbing finds, like one who opened a sandwich to discover a translucent chicken strip resembling a wet tissue more than actual food, leading reviews to brand it elastic, spongy, and potentially from another planet. Even the seemingly innocuous veggies often fail to meet basic standards. A widely shared image from a New Jersey location showcased brown lettuce, half-rotten tomatoes, and cucumbers that appear to have been stewing in mop water. Beyond the questionable ingredients, cleanliness is another significant red flag. health inspections across numerous Subway locations have repeatedly cited issues like poor temperature control for ingredients, rampant pest activity, and improper glove usage among staff. In one particularly egregious report, an inspector observed an employee wiping down a prep counter with a rag, only to immediately use that very same rag to wipe lettuce. A shocking example of unsanitary practices that amounts to salad sabotage. Even Subway's famous bread has its own scandalous narrative. In Ireland, a court officially ruled that it contained too much sugar to legally be classified as bread. In fact, the rolls used for sandwiches boast more sugar per serving than some donuts, making that healthy 6-inch turkey sub nutritionally deceptive. You are, in essence, eating cake disguised with lunch meat. And as for their toasting process, customers often point out the glaring inconsistency. One user uploaded a side-by-side image where their bread was so unevenly toasted, it looked like it had simply fallen asleep midway through a tanning session. Despite these deeply concerning revelations, Subway somehow maintains its title as the world's most widespread fast food chain. This isn't a testament to exceptional food quality, but rather to its pervasive availability, familiarity, and low cost. Yet, cheap and familiar are far from guarantees of clean and safe. The next time you reach for that $5 footlong, consider that it might cost you more than money. It could cost you your dignity and your digestive system. Now let's head a little further south of the border, or at least the American interpretation of it. Welcome to Taco Bell. This late-night favorite and college student staple is widely celebrated as the kingdom of crunch wraps and delightfully mysterious sauces. Yet, peel back the bright lights and catchy jingles, and you'll discover a menu full of secrets that could turn your stomach faster than a $1 burrito special. Employees have openly reported incidents like expired sour cream still being served, ground beef left unrefrigerated for far too long, and cheese hardening and crusting over in prep bins. One viral video from a former cook meticulously documented the shocking process of making Taco Bell's beans. It begins with a bag of dry brown powder, which is then unceremoniously dumped into a tub of hot water, stirred until it reaches a mushy consistency, and then served. These are clearly not the slow-cooked, richly seasoned beans reminiscent of Grandma's kitchen. Instead, they are rehydrated bean particles concocted in a lab and resurrected with boiling water. A commenter perfectly encapsulated the disillusionment, writing, "I thought I was eating fiber. Turns out it was bean soup-flavored cement." Let's delve further into that infamous ground beef. Taco Bell's seasoned beef surprisingly contains only 88% actual beef. The remaining percentage is a blend of various fillers, including oats, soy, anti-caking agents, and even silicon dioxide, a compound more commonly found in industrial products like sand and glass. While you might find the taste acceptable, you're essentially consuming beef mixed with the leftover ingredients from a science fair. Although Taco Bell continues to defend its ingredients, taste testers frequently describe their meat as unusually wet, gritty, or oddly sweet. Compounding these issues are frequent temperature violations reported at some locations, especially during chaotic late-night hours when fewer staff members are present. One former employee disclosed that, during peak rushes, it was common practice to completely skip essential temperature checks just to keep the service line moving, meaning some of the meat and cheese you consume could have been sitting out for longer than your average Netflix binge. And we absolutely cannot overlook the ice machines. Multiple undercover food safety reviews have horrifyingly revealed mold buildup, black slime, and even various insects lurking inside soda fountains and ice bins. One inspector once starkly noted that a Taco Bell ice machine was actually dirtier than the bathroom sink. Ponder that unsettling fact the next time you savor a Baja Blast. That seemingly refreshing citrus flavor might be accompanied by a hint of mildew. Even the food presentation is famously inconsistent and often poor. A customer once posted a viral photo of their taco containing a measly 2 teaspoons of filling, looking utterly sad, as if it had already been stepped on. The online comments were brutally honest. "That taco looks like it regrets being born," said one, while another simply asked, "Bro, Blink twice if you're okay. Yet, despite these numerous quality and safety concerns, Taco Bell's value menu remains immensely popular. Why? Because the prices are irresistible and the flavors are precisely engineered to hit all the right cravings. Salty, creamy, and crunchy, all in one bite. But let's be honest, a science experiment with a Dorito in it could also be described as salty, creamy, and crunchy. While it might feel good going down, it's the aftermath you truly need to worry about. Don't let the fun branding distract you from these harsh realities. When the food costs so little, it's often because corners are being aggressively cut everywhere else, including the vital corners that are supposed to keep you safe, satisfied, and thankfully, salmonella-free. Now, let's turn our attention to a chain that built its entire identity around tradition, comfort, and family-style dining, Olive Garden. But before you crave unlimited breadsticks and pasta, let's take a closer look behind those inviting kitchen doors, where the endless breadsticks often coincide with endless sanitation complaints. The next time someone mentions their craving for authentic Italian, you might want to remind them that Olive Garden's pasta isn't lovingly crafted. It's industrial pasta, boiled, then frozen, and subsequently bagged before it even arrives at the restaurant. That rich Alfredo sauce they generously ladle over your dish. It's delivered in enormous industrial plastic pouches, then merely reheated, resembling a sad, lukewarm science experiment rather than a culinary creation. Numerous former employees have candidly admitted that Olive Garden kitchens operate less like traditional restaurants and more like efficient assembly lines. One viral confession online perfectly captured this reality. You're not ordering dinner, you're essentially activating a microwave meal, just with table service. A customer once posted a video of their lasagna that alarmingly jiggled on the plate as if it were made of gelatin, with the top layer melted into the bottom, the cheese appearing like congealed plastic, and the sauce thickening into something eerily similar to tomato-flavored glue. Online commenters were split between helpless laughter and genuine despair. And that fresh salad, the one they consistently hype up as unlimited and vibrant. The lettuce often comes pre-chopped in massive industrial bags, left to sit in bins for hours before it ever reaches your bowl. One former worker even claimed that the olives are preserved in a solution so potent it leaves their fingers numb after preparing just one single tray. So, if your next salad from Olive Garden tastes a little off, it might not be just the dressing. It could be the faint, unsettling undertones of formaldehyde. Then there's the recurring issue of cleanliness. Health department records from a multitude of Olive Garden locations reveal a disturbing and consistent pattern. Improper food storage, utensils routinely left to soak in standing, unsanitary water, and in one truly shocking instance, a pasta bin was discovered to have significant insect activity. Yes, you read that right, insect activity. That is unequivocally not a garnish, it is a lawsuit waiting to happen. Another customer widely publicized their discovery of a short black hair unpleasantly tangled in their fettuccine, causing the image to go viral instantly, long before the restaurant could even issue a response. The simple caption spoke volumes. "Tell me this is seasoning, please." Furthermore, employees have often voiced complaints about being pressured to use the same kitchen towels for wiping down counters and drying dishes, blurring the lines of basic hygiene. One former dishwasher hauntingly described the cleaning process as hope and bleach fumes. The staff turnover rate at Olive Garden is notoriously high, meaning undertrained new hires often operate the food line with minimal preparation, so the person mixing your shrimp scampi could very well still be learning how to properly wash their hands. While Olive Garden passionately strives to project an image of authentic Italian roots, the vast majority of its recipes originate from a centralized corporate database, not from a cherished family cookbook. The tour of Italy may sound romantically charming, but in reality, all you're really touring is a freezer aisle. The prices have steadily risen over the years, but the quality has remained stagnant, if not declined. You're not paying for superior ingredients, you're simply paying more for the privilege of sitting in a booth adorned with faux Tuscan wallpaper and experiencing consistently slow service. Let's move on to a chain many Americans still trust without question, Chipotle. The name itself evokes notions of health, simplicity, and bold, fresh flavors. However, it also comes with an alarming track record of food poisoning incidents that could easily fill an entire burrito and then some. In just the last decade, Chipotle has experienced more foodborne illness outbreaks than any other major fast casual chain, serving up a regrettable buffet of bad choices, including norovirus, salmonella, and E. coli. The core of these issues can typically be traced back to two critical factors: rushed preparation and risky ingredient sourcing. Chipotle's staunch insistence on prepping fresh daily sounds fantastic in theory, but in practice it often means undertrained employees are frantically chopping, marinating, and cooking under immense time pressure. One former worker grimly shared that they once cut chicken while still wearing gloves covered in guacamole. Another reported that rice was occasionally left in warming trays for hours, crusting on top while remaining mushy and lukewarm underneath, a dangerous temperature zone that isn't a texture blend, but rather a prime breeding ground for bacteria. Let's delve into that famous guacamole. It is made fresh, yes, but in such colossal batches that even one small misstep, like insufficient cleaning of prep bowls, can swiftly spread contamination through an enormous quantity. And speaking of bowls, there's a reason you often spot greasy fingerprints or dried bits of rice stubbornly clinging to the rim. Workers are relentlessly pushed to move quickly, not necessarily cleanly. When the lunch rush hits, quality control tends to plummet faster than your blood sugar while waiting in a long line. One of the most significant health risks, ironically, comes from the lettuce. Chipotle still uses raw, unbagged romaine. While this might sound preferable to pre-chopped greens, it inherently carries a higher risk. Romaine lettuce has been linked to multiple large-scale outbreaks, and when improperly washed or stored, it can harbor dangerous bacteria that no amount of vinaigrette can conceal. Disturbingly, in 2018, nearly 700 people across multiple states fell ill after consuming contaminated lettuce at Chipotle. A side salad should never come with a side of regrets. Another glaring issue involves temperature logs. Chipotle's corporate policy mandates that meats be kept above 140 degrees or below 40 degrees when not actively cooking. However, in numerous lawsuits and detailed employee reports, former workers have claimed that these crucial temperature checks were often inaccurately recorded or entirely skipped when stores were understaffed and overwhelmed. That barbacoa bowl you're enjoying might be spicy for more reasons than one. The risk is undeniably real, and the consequences, from mild discomfort to severe illness, are profoundly unpleasant. Even the menu itself can be misleading. Many customers genuinely believe Chipotle offers a healthy alternative to traditional fast food, but a typical burrito with all the popular fixings can easily exceed 1,100 calories and contain more sodium than an adult should consume in an entire day. A former manager once sardonically joked that their burritos were essentially wraps of denial, and that most people would be better off opting for 2 tacos and a nap instead. If you truly think you're eating clean, it's imperative to double-check what's actually lurking in that seemingly wholesome bowl. And yet, Chipotle's brand image remains surprisingly robust, largely thanks to its slick marketing campaigns and the potent illusion of freshness. But fresh does not automatically equate to safe, and fast certainly doesn't guarantee carefully handled. Between rush staff, high employee turnover rates, and inconsistent food safety procedures, every single visit to Chipotle feels like a roll of the dice. That burrito roulette might land you a satisfying lunch, or it could condemn you to a miserable night. We've covered 5 restaurants, each with its own trove of shocking secrets. But the sixth one might be the most profoundly surprising of them all, a place you probably drive past every single day, a global institution where the ice cream machine always seems to be mysteriously broken. The burgers are picture perfect in ads, but woefully sad in reality, and the pervasive smell of fries is often stronger than your personal sense of caution. You guessed it, McDonald's. McDonald's is far more than just a restaurant. It's a global symbol spanning over 100 countries and proudly boasting billions served. But if you mistakenly believe that the world's most iconic fast food chain upholds spotless kitchens and top-tier standards commensurate with its colossal fame, then it's time to think again. Behind those ubiquitous golden arches lies a disturbingly long laundry list of questionable practices, startling employee confessions, and serious food safety warnings that should compel any conscientious customer to pause before even considering placing an order. Let's begin with that famously malfunctioning ice cream machine. Its persistent breakdowns have become such an ingrained running joke that entire websites now exist solely to track whether your local McDonald's actually has working soft serve. But this isn't merely an inconvenience. Several former employees and managers have consistently confirmed that the actual reason these machines frequently break is precisely because they demand intense, incredibly time-consuming cleaning cycles. The entire machine must be meticulously disassembled, thoroughly sterilized, and then carefully reassembled, a process that can literally take hours. Consequently, many locations simply skip this arduous process or intentionally leave the machine off to avoid the hassle altogether. One frustrated worker candidly stated, "It's either broken, fake broken, or growing its own distinct ecosystem inside." Then there's the widely propagated myth of consistency. While McDonald's adamantly claims that every Big Mac should taste identically in every corner of the world, reality paints a starkly different picture. Employees in countless cities have bravely shared photographic evidence of burger patties stored at incorrect temperatures, cheese slices visibly sweating under intense heat lamps for extended periods, and lettuce that appears as if it was cryogenically frozen and then roughly shocked back to life. One viral video from a behind-the-scenes tour shockingly depicted boxes of buns stacked haphazardly on the floor, alarmingly close to a dirty mop bucket. This instantly raises questions about cleanliness, prioritizes efficiency over safety, and is guaranteed to extinguish any existing appetite. Perhaps the most disturbing reports stem from night shift employees who revealed that deep cleaning is routinely rushed or entirely skipped in favor of closing the store faster. A former employee from Florida recalled being explicitly instructed to serve fries from an oil vat that had not been changed in 3 full days. The resulting fries had a noticeably bitter aftertaste and were unusually dark, prompting management's cynical solution: simply add extra salt and fervently hope that no one would notice. When it comes to the meat, McDonald's prominently advertises 100% beef, but this declaration doesn't necessarily imply premium cuts. The beef patties are typically crafted from low-grade meat, heavily processed, flash frozen, and then shipped in massive bulk quantities. Various additives are meticulously mixed in for consistent texture, and the meat is cooked on highly automated grills that afford zero room for customization or genuine care. If a patty is slightly undercooked or overcooked, it is, unfortunately, served anyway. One whistleblower even exposed how some stores would scrape off grill residue from undercooked burgers, reheat them, and shamelessly serve them a second time. And if you harbor the belief that the chicken is any better, reconsider immediately. McDonald's chicken nuggets are routinely frozen for weeks before they ever touch the fryer. A leaked factory video from a major supplier famously revealed the nugget slurry, a disturbing pink paste composed of blended meat and various fillers, being methodically shaped, flash frozen, and then packaged like industrial building bricks. While McDonald's claims this process has improved in recent years, former workers still pejoratively describe nuggets as little meat mystery cubes. One customer even bit into a nugget to find it hollow, containing just air, which, ironically, might be the healthiest item they served that entire day. Health inspection data from numerous states consistently highlights repeated citations for improper storage, unclean surfaces, and employees repeatedly failing to wash their hands between tasks. One inspector in Michigan specifically noted a worker who handled raw beef, then touched their headset, and subsequently scooped fries, all without wearing gloves or performing any hand washing whatsoever. That isn't merely a value meal, that's a significant value risk. And while corporate policies might dictate one thing, the stark reality on the ground often paints a very different picture. One of the most overlooked yet critical problems lies within the beverage machines. Those sleek, shiny touchscreen Coke dispensers are, almost without exception, rarely cleaned as thoroughly as they absolutely should be. Mold buildup, sticky syrup residue, and bacteria harboring tubes are an alarmingly common issue. A technician who services these exact machines once revealed that what's behind the panel is often worse than a college fridge on day 50. Think deeply about that before you grab that extra large sweet tea. McDonald's widespread appeal is undeniably powerful. It's fast, cheap, and always open. But this pervasive convenience inevitably comes with significant shortcuts, and those shortcuts, in turn, can carry severe consequences. Employees are frequently underpaid, consistently overworked, and rigorously trained to prioritize blazing speed over meticulous sanitation. A former crew member succinctly summed up the corporate philosophy: clean enough to pass, fast enough to profit, which is hardly the recipe you'd desire behind your quarter pounder. And let's not overlook the actual taste. While the iconic fries might be legendary for a fleeting moment, the instant they cool down, they rapidly transform from golden and crisp to a limp and chewy disappointment. The burgers often possess that flat, lifeless texture that immediately makes you question whether they were ever truly juicy to begin with. One customer review simply, yet powerfully stated, "Tastes like a memory of meat." It's clear the sauces are forced to do the heavy lifting, and without them, the sandwiches almost literally collapse like a wet cardboard box. Even the breakfast menu, which many people ardently praise, is not immune to these issues. The eggs in the McGriddles arrive pre-cooked in frozen puck form. The pancakes are mass-produced and shipped frozen, then merely reheated on a grill that may or may not have been cleaned since the previous night. One employee revealed that the syrup comes from giant industrial bags that are prone to leaking and attracting flies. That's not syrup. That's a potential health violation cleverly disguised with a maple scent. Yet millions of people continue to eat at McDonald's every single day. Not necessarily because the food is genuinely good, but because it is relentlessly available, comfortably predictable, and incredibly familiar. However, this very familiarity becomes profoundly dangerous when it causes people to stop asking critical questions. The uncomfortable truth is that many of the biggest restaurant chains thrive not on exceptional quality, but on the potent combination of sheer convenience and aggressive marketing. Their food is meticulously engineered to be just tasty enough, just cheap enough, and just fast enough to consistently keep you coming back for more, even if your stomach often harbors a very different opinion. But once you bravely peek behind the curtain, witness the frozen meat, observe the neglected machines, and see the rushed, often unsanitary prep work, it becomes incredibly difficult to unsee it. You begin to acutely notice the cold burger, the soggy bun, the fries that somehow now smell faintly of soap. You begin to realize that billions served might actually translate to billions fooled, and suddenly that enticing dollar menu feels a little more profoundly expensive than you first imagined. So, what is the crucial takeaway here? It's not about asserting that every single restaurant is evil or that every meal you eat out will inevitably poison you, but the undeniable reality is that these 6 massive chains have collectively developed troubling reputations for consistently cutting corners in ways that can directly impact your health, your wallet, and your fundamental trust. The insidious common thread running through all of them is a persistent prioritization of speed over quality, a focus on superficial image over genuine substance, and a drive for cost savings that utterly disregards true customer care. Not all food is created equal, regardless of where you buy it. Just because a place is incredibly popular does not automatically mean it's meticulously clean. Just because an item is aggressively advertised does not mean the claims are entirely true. And just because it's cheap does not mean you won't ultimately pay for it later, whether through stomach cramps, deep disappointment, or yet another round of frantically Googling, "Why does my burger taste like bleach?" Eating out should genuinely be a delightful treat, not a dangerous gamble. And if your gut instinct is strongly telling you something feels off, it most likely is. Trust your instincts, actively question the illusion, and perhaps, just perhaps, save your hard-earned appetite for a place that unequivocally respects both your taste buds and your unwavering safety. Because at the end of the day, food is meant to fuel you, not to fool you. Restaurants may never openly tell you what's truly happening behind their kitchen doors, but now you know.